Thank you for being here with us today, my friends. We have a great show. I'm very excited about it. We're going to talk about the Netherlands. Yes, in northern Verdestia. I'm also going to tell you about some new things we're going to start doing with the stream that I think people are going to be really excited about. We're talking about some monsters. We've got some great things to show, and we're even going to have a little interview with two marvelous boys and their parents, who many of you know, who happened to stop by today because they were going to the Ren Fair. And so we are really, really excited to have this one running today, and I hope to make it really fun for you and all that stuff. But first, here is what we want to do, because I don't know if y'all know this, but in the Gooey Den, we did this Thule meme contest thing, and basically told people that if they made a meme and put it up, and even if you couldn't make a meme, we said we'd make it for you if you put up the words. So we did that for folks. So anyway, so we did this little contest, and there are a number of memes that Camera Mandy picked out based mostly on people's likes, because what we're going to do here is the Goo Crew is going to select the top 10, and then we're going to put those into the Gooey Den, and you get to vote for the winner. The winner will get a special big printout of their meme signed by the Goo Crew, and that's really cool because it's going to be like the only Thule oversized printed meme in the world that's signed by the Goo Crew. So there's only going to be 3 of them in the world, and I'm a big collector, so I like collector's items, right? So I kind of want one of these. Anyway, so cameraman, are you going to put music behind this, or are you just going to pop them up?
Oh, I could.
Or do you want me to? Or do you want me to say? Do you want me to say something like? Do you want me to read it?
Here, I'll put up some fun music, guys. Just give me a quick second.
Okay, so she's gonna put up some goofy music, and I have to, sort of stall, right? So this is a good idea. Say good idea, Alphinius. You could put up some goofy music.
Okay, hold on. I'm going with this is the Pizzicato playlist that I have.
Let's do it. Okay. Put it up. Let's listen. Here we go.
Okay, everyone in the comments, let me know if the audio for the music sounds okay. Okay, here.
All right, here we go. We're going to show the first one. Pardon me. Do you have a toothpick?
Yeah. So I actually picked this one out, not based on votes, but because it was my favorite.
Yes, Camera Mandy. She gets author privilege or something like that, right? So this next one is this one got the most likes so far in the Thule naming contest, I believe, right? The GM's face when the group cancels game day. Aha!
Or to reverse, where the GM cancels on game day.
I have had this face, and I'm sure my players have as well. Yes, it does happen.
Okay, here's the next one.
All right, when you eat the Hot Pocket before letting it cool down. Yes, this is a good one too. I cackled at this one when I saw it. There's actually quite a few of them that I really think, if you have a moment to go through and look, they are pretty fun. And they're made by all your friends, so go in there and give them a like if you like them, and maybe you can influence the Goo Crew in the vote.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so here's the next one. And we only picked out 5, but there are so many good ones you have to go check them out.
Yeah, they're really, and we didn't pick out all the good ones. We just grabbed a number of them that seem to have a few more likes than others, but there are so many funny ones. All right, this says, Mr. Thule, how many licks to the center of the Tootsie Pop? Yes, 1, 2, 3. Crunch.
That was a good impersonation.
I know.
You're kind of like the old owl.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm wise. Yes, I have an owl on my vest. You've seen this, cameraman, yes?
Yes, I think I put it there. Okay, and lastly.
Yes, this one I don't really like. Alphinius Roth was great. Whomever signed him up anonymously for the Hat of the Month Club was doomed.
Dun, dun, dun.
So those are a lot of fun. So if you got a moment, check them out in the den and do that. And I couldn't obviously put them all up on Discord. It would have been a little bit of a difficult thing. So for those of you on the Discord, just check them out in the den. So there's another thing that we want to put up, because we're going to start doing this as people put up posts and pictures and such like that, because we want you to see more of our friends, and we really enjoy when folks put up images, and so this is the first couple of us, from us to you. This is our marvelous friend, Adam, and I'm almost sure it's Adam. I hope I'm. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I am an old man, right? And so I don't remember everything. But you got to admit, I remember a lot of stuff, Cameramandy. Yes, it's pretty amazing, yes?
Eh.
It's Adam, yes?
I don't remember.
Yes, it's.
I'm so sorry. I'm an old lady. People don't know this about me.
I am almost positive that this is our dear friend Adam. So anyway, so thank you for giving this marvelous picture to us and letting us see it, and we so appreciate the props, if you will. And so if you all want to put up those pictures in the den and show those things, you know, we're gonna keep showing other images and try to just have some fun with sort of the life, right, that we live, this nerdy, geeky, crazy life that we live. All right. So what's next, cameraman? We're gonna talk about these
some art.
These artworks.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 3 pieces of art to show, but 2 of them are locations, and we actually have a map to show them on. But we're going to show the locations, their main portraits first. So here we go.
All right. So this is you are showing a location for this, or you're not, cameraman?
Yes, I have it on the map.
So there are a number of elven settlements in the world, yes, and they. I'm looking at the map, Andy. Are you sure this is the correct map for this one?
This is the one that you send me.
No, yes, I don't think so. But you need to. It's the Avoda Malu, yes, because this is the elven city, yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, you can switch it up. You got this.
Okay, so.
Go ahead. I'm looking. Come on, you got this.
What am I doing?
No, just switch to the map, the other map.
Oh, okay. You want
Yes, keep going. Give me another map.
I don't have another map for this one.
Well, anyway, I apologize, my friends, but somehow cameraman and I got our wires crossed. We clearly are having problems this morning, right, with all kinds of strange things going on. Anyway.
No, I'm just going to tell you the show was cursed from the start, but we did have an adorable interview coming up, so stay tuned.
It's cute. It's cute.
Stay tuned.
All right, just go back there. Just go back there. Don't show the map. Don't show the map.
Okay.
All right, so the elves of the Avoda Malu, right, the Selen Hadrin primarily, this is the last bastion of high elves really on the planet of Zyathé. And they have taken over this massive, wonderful forest that actually has fairly significant components of it left from before the Woe of Ruin. And after the Woe, after so many of the Selen Hadrin had died in these massive cataclysm, these burning of the forests, right, and so many of them had died, they reached out, the ones of the Avoda Malu, reached out to the world, really, and said, come be with us. And so now all of these Selen Hadrin have moved there, and there are people who are worried about them. There are people who are worried about what their intentions are. If you read the Westward, you will know that the Oathadrine Empire was before the Woe, well before the Woe, and the Oathadrine Empire was philosophy. Their philosophy was that the high elves and elves in particular should rule the world. Oh my gosh!
I just realized our comedy music was still playing.
That's great. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
During this beautiful, majestic. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the music, guys.
Good God, cameraman, we're having a terrible technical thing this morning. And I hope you all are having fun with me, because I'm having fun. I'm gonna drink a cup of coffee. So I mean, it's just.
Me too. We're both gonna take a chug of coffee. Everybody, take a chug of your coffee.
Anyway, so there are a number of elven settlements in and about the Avoda Malu, which they claim entirely for their own. And we are very excited about the Avoda Malu, and I think you are going to love it. We have had wonderful inputs from our marvelous Carrie, who you all know is really been a wonderful supporter for us in terms of writing and contributions. And Alexander put together a wonderful sort of philosophical and informational document about the Avoda Malu to kind of help us, and it is amazing. And then our marvelous Adam is actually going to help with some of the authoring of that. So we are very excited for the Avoda Malu. In fact, we are very excited for the entire Essenverd. You're going to be astounded by it. But this is one of the elven settlements therein, and it is a little bit further up in the edge of the Dawnspire Mountains, and you can actually see in the background ruins of the city that was there prior to the Woe of Ruin. So there is much tale to be told within this image. I hope you like it. All right, what's next, cameraman?
Okay, I want to apologize. There was actually no music playing during it at all because I turned off the desktop. So even though I was playing the music, it wasn't coming through because I turned off all the audio during the Travesty that was our first opening. So, okay, here is the next piece.
Thank you all for putting up with us today.
I know.
I appreciate it very, very much.
I'm so sorry.
I hope you're having a good time.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the next one. And I do have the proper map for
Yes,
this
you
one.
do. This is marvelous. This is, of course, Trundadelve. And Trundadelve is the major dwarven citadel in the Republic of Zyathé. And there is a second one that is also there. There's a second dwarven realm, but Trundadelve is really the premier of the dwarven settlements. And in fact, that has created some problems because the one in the south, which is called, cameraman, you just about fell over on her chair.
The microphone fell out of
God, cameraman.
I know.
Do not take your pills. Anyway, so Trundadelve is sort of the premier of the you know what, this is just one of those streams. We're just going to roll with it, okay? That's what we're going to do. So Trundadelve and Sundervulden, right, which are both major dwarven settlements in the Wormrest Mountains, right here. And
Here, I'm gonna show them the map right now.
Oh yeah, do that. That's great.
Okay.
So this is the Narthendel region of the Republic of Zyathé, and you can see the city of Hardcastle, and you can see the rivers that are coming down there, and sort of all that's going on there, and you can see Trundadelve right there. So this is pretty far north. Okay. In fact, if right at the edge, you can see the Grey Citadel, which sits along the border of the Republic and the Vile Desolation. And anyway, the Trundadelve, this city of the dwarves, is very wealthy. And they have actually just recently finished constructing, with the help of the Republic and Technic Artificitors, this Undermount Railway that is powered by flowstone, and actually makes the trip between the Leviathan Bay side of the Wormrest Mountains and the Republic much quicker. So it has enabled much more flow of goods and services and all kinds of things. And so this is a very interesting development that has happened only fairly recently in the time of the Republic. But Trundadelve is sort of dominating the dwarven politics in the world of Zyathé, or excuse me, in the Republic of Zyathé. And that has really frustrated the dwarves of Sundervulden. And so the Queen of Anvala, whom we heard about last episode, right, which is marvelous, yes, the Queen of Anvala is trying to bring them, along with the city of Sundrun, back to Anvala, because in the truth, long ago, they were more affiliated with Anvala than they were with the Republic. Now, this is why we love politics, yes? Politics is fantastic in the world of Zyathé, because it doesn't have real politicians, right? That's the best. Anyway, what's next, Camera Mendy? Okay, so so this is all, this is the commercial, right? So this is all in the West Verdestia tome, which we are shipping out right now. We are doing this extra shipping that we didn't plan for in the Kickstarter, but we just wanted to get folks stuff. So we're shipping out Chapter 4, we're shipping out West Verdestia, we're shipping out the map packs, we're shipping out Gooey Dice, we're shipping out t-shirts. So all the stuff that you backed in the Kickstarter, we're throwing them out for you to be able to enjoy. So we're excited about that. And those of you who haven't gotten a notice yet that if you're shipping, don't worry, they're coming. Remember, these boxes take a long time to assemble. And so we have to put them together by hand, and they are, thick, and Chapter 4 is the thickest of all. So anyway, we will be doing, for those of you who are wondering, we will be doing a pre-order for the map pack and for the West Verdestia document, the West Verdestia tome, here very soon. All right, what you got next for me, cameraman?
One of my favorite portraits.
Oh, yeah. So this is beautiful. This is a wood elf. And she, of course, has a little fairy sort of dragon on her shoulder. And this was done by our marvelous Abir, and she is a fantastic artist, and we are so blessed to have the many artists that we do. And I don't know if you know this, but I've said this before, but many of our artists are not as discovered as others, right? There are many that have been discovered, but we are trying to help artists that maybe have been less than discovered and deserve to be discovered. We're trying to help them. So that is part of our goal. And this Abir is wonderful. So we are so pleased to have her be a part of the artistry of the world of Zyathé. Did you want to show that other map, Camera Mendy, or do you not want to show that?
Okay, so here's what's happening is that we have pre-planned our next week's episode. So all those maps that you sent me are for next week's episode that we will be recording right after.
This is why Camera Mandy's all stressed out, because she's also leaving on vacation here very, very soon, and she is trying to get everything done, and so this is probably why we're all up in arms like this today. Camera Mandy, we all want you to have a wonderful vacation, get some rest, and enjoy your time. Everyone truly, my dear, appreciates everything you do, and it's the truth. Yes, give her a little hand in the Twitch stream.
I don't know how to take a compliment from Alphinius. It makes me all shy.
Okay, just pretend that I didn't say it. Okay, all right.
Do you want me now?
Yes, Camera Mandy. You know, your mother was a hamster or something like that. Yes. Okay.
That is rude.
What is next?
Okay, so next up, I think, do you want to do either the interview with Casey, or do we want to do
let's go ahead and do the interview. Let's do this. So this is marvelous because you'll hear me talk about these portraits that we are doing, and we have done nigh on, I think, 100 character portraits from all of our Gooey people. It's certainly getting close to that. I haven't counted the exact number, but it's certainly getting close to that. And that doesn't include the Goo crew. And the folks who are coming, who is Casey and Tanya, who many of you know, and of course they brought their 2 sons. And they did portraits for both of their sons, and all of these, along with Casey's portraits, so Tanya's portrait of Rune and Gordon and Monroe's portraits, they will all be characters in the Weirded World, and this is really, really exciting for us. So I hope you enjoy this interview. It's really cute, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Ha-ha! Hello, my friends. Here we are at the Gooey Cube studio with Camera Mandy sitting back there giving me all kinds of grief, which is what she does all the time. But we are here with some very special people who stopped in today because they are going to the Renaissance Fair. Yes, the Renaissance Fair. This is where all kinds of crazy people go out there and pretend that they are knights and wenches. How come that everybody wants to pretend to be a wench?
They are knights.
Knights and wenches?
I'm not going to say that they're wenches.
Mandy, you know that everything, I don't even understand this wench thing. Anyway, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, they go out there and do all this crazy stuff and eat turkey legs, right? And go and watch the king and the queen, and people drive around and they knock each other down with lances. Do they still do that? Mm-hmm. Yes, they knock people down with lances off of horsebacks, and it's all kind of craziness. So if you've never been to the Ren Fair, I suggest that you consider doing so. Anyway, we are going to introduce our guests who are heading out to the Ren Fair. Please, Miss Tanya, it is good to see you again, my friend.
It's good to see you too, thank you.
So, tell them.
My name's Tanya. I am the other half of Casey.
The better half, yes, yeah. The better, yes.
So, and we're here to talk about our portraits.
Yes, and we brought some guests, right? You brought your, yes. That's marvelous. Yep. So, would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Dragonface?
Hi, I'm Gordon.
Look up that way, Gordon, and say hello to everybody in the camera. Say hello, everybody in the camera.
Hi.
Say hello, everybody in the camera.
Everybody in the camera.
Yeah, just like that. That's what you do. You see what I'm saying? You got to be like a goofball, because that's what makes everybody excited, right? If we act like a nerd and crazy, everybody loves that, right? Yeah. If you're going to sit there and go, I am Alphinius. Hello. Nice to meet you. People don't like that as much, right? So
I like it more.
Camera Mandy, as usual, is insulting me. This is just the way it works around this place. Anyway, what is your name, sir?
I'm Monroe. Hi.
I'm Monroe. Hey, what's happening, dudes? Do that right at the camera.
Okay. Hi, I'm Monroe. Hey, what's happening?
Dudes.
Dudes.
So we have one more to introduce, but Gordon and Monroe, their parents, Casey and Tanya. Casey, you'll see in a second. I know many of you know him already. They had portraits made for Gordon and Monroe, and we're going to talk about their part in the Weirded World, which we're pretty excited about to see how it goes. But first, you, sir.
I'm Casey, part of the Gooey community, and of course today you would probably see me as Torlak, but I think I figured I wanted to troll Alphinius and wear a hat. So,
yes, he wore the hat. He tried to put it on my head. He was not successful. I am a big man. Yes, huge. Not only that, I didn't shower today, so it backed him off real quick.
He wouldn't let me do it, but that's okay.
All right. So listen, my friends. Let us talk for a moment about this circumstance. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. So we have 2 characters. Yes?
Yep.
What's the name of your character? Look at the camera.
Alex the Wizard.
Say it again.
Alex.
The Lizard. The Lizard? Did you say the Lizard?
No, the Wizard.
Oh, the Wizard. I'm sorry. I thought you said Alex the Lizard. And, of course, I looked over here and, this is the dragon. So I figured there was... Anyway, no, I heard you correct. All right, what's your character's name?
Hi.
Hold on. Look
I'm
up the camera.
Draggy. I'm Draggy.
Draggy. Yes, pull up the mask. Yes. All right, there you go. That's good. That is good. You're doing marvelous. Now, all right. So, tell me the story of the fire lizard. And try to look at the camera as best as you can.
So one time when we were walking,
Take the mask off now for this.
One time when we were walking in the street, we heard some squeaking noises, and we saw a lizard, a red lizard with black spots, holding a chili pepper, and this gray mouse was sneaking up on him, then ran over and stole the chili pepper, and then started squeaking and running around.
Right out of the fire lizard's mouth, just grabbed it.
Yeah, and then it ran up for me to protection, and
look up at the camera.
Since Monroe didn't want the fire lizard to hurt me because they're very hot if it climbed on me, and so he cast Familiar on the lizard.
And suddenly the lizard became... Wait, look at the camera. Tell them what happened then.
So then the lizard became my Familiar.
Yes, you obviously have an easy game master.
And the mouse just liked me, so it ate the chili pepper.
But didn't it get a little fire in the mouth? You know, these chili peppers tend to give a little burn. You know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
Not really. You know about 2 times hot? You know about 2 times hot? We won't talk about 2 times hot. Some people out there might know what 2 times hot is. If you ever want to know about 3 times hot, I'll tell you about that too, but not in mixed company. Anyway, okay, so the fire lizard...
I'm showing the illustration of the lizard right now.
Oh, okay, so tell us about the lizard. That's good. That's marvelous.
Okay.
So tell us about this lizard a little bit.
Why you don't see him in my portrait is because he's back at my lab guarding his stash of chili peppers from Gordon's mouse.
Now, Gordon's mouth or Gordon's mouse?
Mouse.
Okay, just wait a minute. So this mouse so he has more chili peppers than just one.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yeah, he's got a jar of chili peppers.
Jar of chili peppers. Yes, very, very good. You know, there's a group called the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. So I won't continue. All right. So he's guarding the chili peppers while you all go out and adventure. Is that correct?
Yep.
And your mouse continues to try to, don't play with that, my friend, because if you play with that, cameraman is going to say, I can't hear you anymore. Yes. So they go and play, right, the mouse is kind of against the fire lizard. Is that correct?
Sort of.
They're friends. They just love to steal each other's chili peppers.
So it's a little like Tom and Jerry. Do you even know what I'm talking about when I say Tom and Jerry?
Gordon's seen it. I haven't.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, kind of.
More like Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes, even better. I love those two. Yes, marvelous. It's very much fun. All right, so listen. So one of the things that I want to say is that playing these games with kids is incredible. All right? And if you don't know about this stuff, there are things going on in the world right now where people are literally playing these games with kids with autism. In fact, I want you to talk about this because I know you've studied a little bit about this kind of stuff. Yes, this neuro thing and all that crap. Tanya's a doctor. Yes, a doctor. Ha-ha! So they're doing these things with children, and it's really helping to bring them out, right? It verbal skills and math skills and all of this kind of stuff from these marvelous role-playing games. Tanya, tell us. You are a doctor. Tell us. Look at the camera. Yes.
Well, I'm only a family doctor, so I'm not like a neurobiologist.
Listen, hold on a second now. Listen, if anybody out there is also a doctor, right? You know that you have to go to school for like 48 years, right? And then you have to do a residency for like 10 years. You sleep on couches for working for 36 hours straight. This is all what I see on TV, so it must be true.
Yeah, it was rough.
All right, so tell them.
Well, I mean, just it gives kids a safe place to express emotion. It gives them ways to role play things, and they can take these skills then to their normal. That's sorry, bad word to say that, but yeah, to their regular interactions.
It's not normal, Tanya. It's
yeah, it's definitely not normal.
Okay, listen, we are a bunch of people sitting around pretending we are killing monsters with swords and spells.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that the noise you were hearing.
Oh, we're going to fix it right now.
No, is someone burping into the microphone.
Are you burping into the microphone? Listen, hold on a second. Let me see if I can get a good one. I will pick up this stuff without showing the logo.
Oh, no.
Couldn't get a good one. Anyway, so Tanya, listen, tell us about Rune.
Who? I'm sorry?
Tell us about
Rune. Yes. Rune Grand is the granddaughter of Gurg the Mighty. And I played her character several weeks ago, and we had an event here, and it was a lot of fun. She's very, again, she's the straight man in the comedy troupe because everyone else is so darn funny, and she's like, "Gerg's my granddad," you know. But she's also this very commanding presence, party leader. Just turned out to be really fun, honestly, and kind of someone I kind of want to be.
Alphinius was way cooler than Kim, right? You know, so the thing is, here's the deal, right? Yeah. Tanya also had a portrait done, and if you want to show, Mandy, are you showing that portrait right now?
Yes.
So Rune is. Tell us about the Gurund, right? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the Gurund are very tall. They live in the mountains. They're not secretive, but they're very close, tight knit communities. Don't tend to go out into the rest of the world. They have ritual scarring instead of tattoos. And they also, singing is a very big part of their culture. And
oral history, right?
Yeah.
They pass down everything through the song and the poems
Yes.
and all of that. It's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a really unique character, and just bringing that into the rest of the world is it's really fun.
All right.
So
well, I am incredibly proud and pleased to have been a part of that. I still, because I've told you, I don't get to play so much anymore, right? And just because of Gooey Cube is very busy along with our day jobs. And I just had such a wonderful, wonderful weekend with you all.
It was a lot of fun.
All right, so Casey, tell us about this Torlock Silver Hammer that is Silver Maw that is not represented today by who is this? Who actually is this that you are representing today?
This is probably more Isak, which is my bard. Or it's kind of a Highland rogue. It's kind of a hybrid, but I often play a bard.
Is there seduction and other things involved in this?
Does he seduce? No. He's somebody who spends a lot of time. The bard, my character, who spends a lot of time being something that he's not.
Just to be clear, because I was showing your portrait.
Okay, go to Torlack.
Okay. So we'll go to Torlack,
They were just talking about his costume that he's wearing.
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
Yeah. Now we are flashing back to his portrait.
Okay.
Right.
So Torlack, I'm a sucker for a redemption story arc, and he's somebody who is my character that I like to play, and he's somebody who was reformed. He originally was a sailor, and then he was reformed and brought to Illyria. And became a lore master because he was always interested. He was traveling the world as a sailor and interested in the stories around the world. And so eventually he became a lore master and got involved with Master Laren there in Darkenhaven. And they brought him into the study to travel Verdestia and learn more about it, and specifically into the land of Mount Nephrius, into that region of West Verdestia, and explored and found out some of the vile things and the corruption and the arcane issues within the Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's learned a lot about from that. But that's what he does. He's part of the Great and Exalted Tower of Learning and Lore. He's one of the curators
Hold on,
there.
stop, Casey, very important.
Okay, all right, we gotta do that.
Mandy, did you get that one?
She doesn't even know what to say. So we'll go back to the story. So he's one of the curators there in the Tower of Lore, and as you see the map, the Godsword map that just came out, it's right there. You can find it. So it's exciting to see that all coming together. But he certainly enjoys being around people and helping people learn and teach, and he idolizes Master Laren, and we'll talk more about him in the future.
Friend of Alphinius, by the way.
Yes.
So listen, this is one of the things that I am absolutely blown away about with what we are doing, because I think we're getting close to 100 real people's character portraits that have been done since the beginning of Gooey Cube, and that does not include the Goo crew. And what I am just blown away about it, I actually got misty-eyed when I picked up the West Verdestia book for the first time, because I sort of started turning through there and I saw all of these contributions. I said, Anthony's and Christie's and goodness gracious, so many. Jason and Christina did stuff, and Michelle, and there's just so many in there that are just wonderful. And but there's also pictures of our people, our Gooey people, that are characters in the world. And just as that is true with those folks, it's also going to be true for yours. And that is, I think, I'm very excited to write about Rune. We don't have many Gorund that have been have been created yet by others. Lawrence, who is my godson and Mandy's brother, has a Gurund, which is really marvelous. So, anyway, that is it for us today. Is there questions?
I have not shown one portrait.
Which one have you not shown?
Alex the Wizard.
Oh, that's right.
Well, goodness
How
gracious,
can we
you
forget
gotta
Alex?
show that. Yeah. All right, you want to talk about, we already sort of talked about the lizard, yes? So,
the Wizard.
Oh, the wizard, yes. So, Alex the Wizard.
Yeah.
You didn't show the portrait?
I'm showing the portrait right now.
My humblest apology. So tell them about Alex the Wizard. I thought she showed it when you were talking about it. My apologies.
But we talked about the lizard. Now we're talking about the wizard.
You see this look, Randy? This is the look you give me all the time. All right, go ahead. Tell them about Alex the Lizard.
The wizard.
Okay. He's a wizard that is sort of a technic artificer as when he's not fighting in a dungeon.
Nice. Technical
And
artificer.
he makes a lot of things to help fight monsters.
Very cool. I'm excited about Technic Artificetry. It is coming together. It's marvelous. All right, my friends. Cameraman, any questions from the audience? None yet? Of course not. It's pre-recorded. All right, we're going to cut back to wherever Camera Mandy takes me next. Thank you all for coming. You are marvelous. Look at the cameras. Go like this. Bye. 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 Hello. I hope you enjoyed that. That was such fun for me, and I meant what I said about this thing with kids. I really believe that these games can have tremendous impacts on social anxieties and uncomfortableness in terms of speaking in front of other people, just normal uncomfortableness. They can teach these math skills, and they teach these verbal skills and spelling and writing, and it's just such a good thing. So if you have kids, this is this is a good game to introduce them to. Now, of course, the younger ones, you probably got to be a little cuter, right? Needs to be lizards and mice and those kinds of things. And as they get older, perhaps you can be a little more aggressive, right? So anyway, it was great. Casey, Tanya, thank you for bringing Gordon and Monroe to be with us. It was wonderful to have them. All right, so my friends, now here, but I'm going to do a little more reading from the Cyclopedia Zyathé Volume 1, which is called The Weirded World. And this is the sort of definitive beginning of all that we did as we began to create the world of Zyathé. But before I do this, I want to just make sure you know a couple things we're going to do in future shows. So it won't be next week because Camera Mandy is on vacation. And we're going to do a pre-recorded stream, so it'll be fun to watch at any time that you wanted to. And I'll be when we run the stream, I'll be in the Twitch chat making all kinds of snide remarks. Yes. So anyway, for the changes that we're going to be making to the show, a lot of people have said that they wanted to see some things. We got some wonderful feedback of additional things that folks want to see. Obviously, they want to see the lore and hear readings, and I guess we got a lot of folks who really enjoyed the reading of the Queen of Anvala's essay, her letter last week, and we're going to do more of that stuff as well. But we're also going to start doing tours, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take some artwork, and we're going to take a piece of the map, and we're going to put together a little sort of a tour of an area beginning in the Westford, and then we will sort of roll it out. Now, the first tour actually might be an actual tour of the continents of the world, so we get everybody introduced to that stuff. And I'm going to give away some secret lores and things like that that maybe are not published anywhere yet, but might be published in the future. All right. So anyway, this reading that I'm doing is from the beginning of the Cyclopedia Zyathé Volume 1. And it is called The Chronicles of the Ventenium Alunax. And these are some of the only writings that really survived the Woe of Ruin and some of the historical records, right? There are other historical records, but this one really is sort of the main one that really gets way back into the old times, okay? And if you remember, in the last, we didn't do it last week because we had Marvelous Carry On, but before that we did a wonderful few readings of the Ventenium Alunax. And what has happened is that there were whispers that began to be spoken to the gods of evil, who had felt sort of pushed away by the gods of neutrality and the gods of goodness. And these whispers that came into their ears told them how they could do things by tapping into the nether flow, which was inside the overall flow, which is called the Zion Dune. And they could get power All right? And so they began to make war upon the gods of neutrality and the gods of goodness using these newfound capabilities, right? And there was much death, and gods died for the first time ever. And there's much lore around that as well that is coming. But as we got to the end of this section, the battle was raging. The gods of evil were really, in some ways, starting to overcome the gods of neutrality and goodness. There was a line that came up, and so I will read from the last paragraph of this section, and then we will move to the next section. Though the gods of goodness and neutrality fought bravely, the newfound powers of the gods of evil were mighty, and for a time it seemed that evil would prevail. But then, as quickly as the magical imbuement had come upon them, it abandoned the evil gods, leaving them to the anger and retribution of their peers. For the gods of evil had been deceived. And the next chapter is called The Rise of Corruption. In their blind quest for vengeance against their brothers and sisters, the evil gods had unleashed the four lords of corruption upon the creation by unsealing the fourth stream of the Zyathés, the Netherflow. This horrid perversion of the Maker's plan had been sequestered deep within the Everflow since being placed there by the four lords. In the millennia that followed, the four masters of corruption nurtured it, enhanced it, and used it to tap the power of the Maker as he slept. While the deific battles raged in the plains and on the surface of Zyathé, the Netherflow began to expand and spread across the Zyathés, a grotesque slick of foulness that would soon infect all things. The gods, however, immersed in their war, failed to notice that Avova's creation had begun to sicken from within. They did not see that a creeping darkness was stretching across the plains and even reaching into the unific plane to afflict the world of Zyathé. But then in the midst of their battles, the gods themselves began to suffer the effects of the expanding befoulment. They grew weary, their minds clouded, and their strength ebbed away. At first they were mystified. Never had they felt such a loss of power, such a drain upon their life force. So dramatic was the impact that the gods paused from their conflict, finally taking notice of the anguished cries of their mortal charges. To their horror, they looked to see the plains were in ruin, the Eterniverse in chaos, and the world of Zyathé dying. And so it came to be in that moment that the four lords of corruption finally revealed themselves. These were abominations, the like of which none had ever seen. Evil at its greatest depths, hatred with no end, dispassionate desire for the destruction and ruination of all things, embodied in horrific visages and monstrously powerful bodies. Their only pleasure derived from the suffering of everything around them. The power of these beings was unending, their malice unquenchable, and each god knew there was no salvation from the ascendance of these four abominations of the creation. But then Sovain, the Lord of Light and leader of the gods of law and goodness, stepped forward, his sword as a flaming sun, his shield as the hardest metal that ever knew existence. Swinging with his entire might, using all the power that remained within his godly body, he struck the Lord of Ruin, who is named Foende'uz, severing his arm. For a moment, hope kindled in Sovain's eyes, but then, as he watched, his sword slowly turned to ash and dust in his hand, and then his hand and arm followed, the ash spreading across his body, until, with but a single wail, the greatest of the gods of good was no more. 'Twas then that Anacrea, the leader of the four, stepped forward. With the foulest of bile dripping from her lips, she proclaimed that all of creation was now the four lords' dominion, that the gods were now their slaves, and that Zyathé, indeed the entire unific plane, was doomed. Then the four mocked the evermore enfeebled gods as they set about warping and corrupting the deific planes, the unific planes, and Zyathé in particular, with their withering touches. Degradation and horrific befoulment, which had seemed slow and subtle at first, now ravaged the plains and the life world unchecked. Everything touched by the chaos was perverted into unholy abominations or swallowed entirely by the void. The gods were powerless to stop the expanding vileness, and indeed were being consumed themselves as the defilement spread across the plains. It seemed that no hope remained. Yes, and the next chapter is called The Maker's Wrath, which we shall read in the next episode of Goo Morning, Zyathé. All right, Camera Mandy, did you like that? Was that good? I hope people in the Twitch stream liked it.
Yes.
I did my best. I really tried to give it a little extra, you know?
You did really, really good. So in the chat, I was talking with Lydia Chan, and the plan is to cut these sections out, and post them as an audiobook on YouTube.
Yes.
So, and I've already
maybe
started,
even with some artworks, right, Mandy? If we can get some things done. We haven't done much artworks of the gods yet, though, so we might have to figure out how we do that.
Yeah, I think we will for like the future, like because we're gonna hopefully read the whole book, and so when we have an illustration that can go with it, we'll post that. I'll put it in the graphics, but also the goal is to keep these really chill for me so I can actually get them done. So.
Yeah, see, Camera Mandy does these marvelous videos, but the ones that, we're going to do those as specials, but it really does take her a tremendous amount of time. She pours her heart into them, and they really, many of you have seen them, right? They are amazing. And if you haven't checked our YouTube channel, and you haven't looked at some of the goofy Alphinius videos that she's done, or some of these marvelous trailers that she's done for our chapters, or there's just a lot of wonderful content there that is entertaining and truly enjoyable. And I'm not just saying that myself. It's wonderful. It's well done, Camera Mandy. We all love you. We give you one of these. Yes, we give you one of these.
This
yes,
is the second compliment in one show, and I just don't know how to handle it.
Yes.
So, anyway.
What am I thinking? Perhaps I am a little unstrung as well. All right, so let us discuss. We're going to talk about some monsters. Yes, is that what we're going to do?
Yes, switch from Camera Mandy to the.
And no other questions in the chat, though. Yes, nothing like that.
Everyone's saying that they love your story time. So.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, my friends. Listen, I really want to give you lore, and I know there's a lot of folks out there that don't have as much time to read, right? And so hopefully, if Camera Mandy and I can pull this together, we're going to do these sort of audio things and give you things you can play when you're driving or elsewise. So that's a goal. All right. So this is monster time. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about these. So we really wanted to create creatures within the world of Zyathé that are, how do you say it, unique, but also very realistic and feel like they have a place in the world. And obviously there are marvelous monsters that have already been created all over the 5e Eterniverse, right? And these are the Ursoon. So there are two basically Ursoon, and they can really be found most continents, okay? But in particular, they are more in the northerly continents, and of course the white one, which is the polar Ursoon, is found. Actually, it's more of a striped little zebra-like looking thing there. Yes, is found also at the poles, right? And these are very fearsome creatures. And people have asked. They've said, well, how come some of your fearsome creatures have these horns, right? Because horns and such like that get developed because the creatures are trying to prevent themselves from being eaten, right? This is sort of the evolution of it all, if you want to call it that, right? Well, of course, if you think about it, there are dragons in the world of Zyathé, yes, and other things that are very much big enough and mean enough and hungry enough to eat an Ursoon, though it might give them a little bit of heartburn. We'll have to see about that. Anyway, these things are big, they are strong, they got a wonderful look to them, and we're really excited about the Ursoon in the world of Zyathé. Yes, so I hope you like the artworks. And some people have asked, they've said, well, why are you doing these monster artworks? And the reason I'm doing them is because I have great anticipation that once we get done with all the stuff we're making this time, that we're going to do another Kickstarter, and the Cyclopedia Monstrica for West Verdestia is going to be a part of it. But I learned a lesson with this Kickstarter. And the lesson I learned with this Kickstarter was get in front of it, because there is so much work to do, and I just want to make sure that we always, do our utmost to deliver for our people. And so that is our goal. That's why we did the interim shipment. I hope those of you who've gotten it are loving it. So, all right, so we're going to talk a little bit about some gods here, yes?
Yeah, so this is piggybacking off of our last week's episode where we talked about the Faerie, and we didn't get a chance to go into the structures of their gods and how they work. So Alphinius is going to kind of talk about not necessarily the specific gods, but how they work.
Yes, and as you just kind of scroll through, I'll say just a little bit about each one of them, right? So Beundel'a is the goddess of whimsy and play, and the SEELIE Faerie hold her up as one of their main patrons, and they really revere her. But in the world of Zyathé, we don't sort of say, I sort of am of this one God. It's a polytheistic thing, and I've talked about this before. Our goal is to really create a more realistic feeling about this godly thing that's going on. So even if you are a Egalitan, which is a neutral holy warrior, if you want to call it that, for the neutral gods, if you're an Egalitan that serves, I don't know, perhaps Caressa, or I don't know, I'm making these up anyway. So if you serve them, you're still going to revere a number of other gods. And this is true of the Faerie. So the Faerie do not just revere Beundel'a, they also revere Falnea Lhasa. And Falnea Lhasa is the goddess of the forests and is very closely aligned with Verdeus, right? And she is also the huntress, and she's marvelous. And if you have a chance to read about her in the Cyclopedia Zyatheka, Volume 1, you will love it. And I've done some wonderful things with the gods that I think many will appreciate, and in terms of our philosophy and how the gods really play into the characters and the world. All right, this next one is Morvenea. And Morvenea, this is a very interesting tale if you read about Morvenea, because Morvenea is called the Lady of the Night Dream. And she is actually a patron of the High Elves, the Sanhedrin. But as this whole thing has happened after the War of Ruin and all of this stuff, there's been other gods, perhaps of not quite such honor as Morvenea, that have sort of crept in to especially the Sanhedrin, which are the High Elves, have crept into their world. All right. So Morvenea is marvelous, and she has a wonderful tale. If you get a chance to check that out. All right, this is Verdeus, and Verdeus is the lord of the woods, the lord of the forested realms, and there's really some good lore about Verdeus, and this is another of the gods that the Faerie revere. All right. So we can go on forward here to the next one. This is a Duneara. Now this is the Unseelie courts, right? So the Unseelie have a different set of patrons, and Duneara is one of them. She is very powerful, one of the leaders of the gods of evil. Now it is important to understand, right? In Zyathé, just because you were made by a god of goodness, right, you can be evil, right? This happens all the time. Right? What's strange is that if you were made by a god of evil, you can't be good. So that's not the truth. That's not the way it is. So just because you are sort of patroned by a certain set of gods, whether they be evil, whether they be neutral, or whether they be good, doesn't mean that your characters, and indeed entire cultures, can't be good, or vice versa. Right? So this is a much more realistic picture of the world, and feels better, I think, to folks, that we don't just have inherently evil groups of people. It's about their cultures and how they live and how they breathe and how they grow up, right? That tends to impact that direction of their lives. All right, so the next one is Sha'aada. And Sha'aada is the goddess of the Umbraflow, or the Goodness gracious! Yes, the Umberflow. Yes, the dark magics. Yes, I apologize, my friends. Like I said, I think my wire is messed up right along with Camera Mendy. But Sha'aada is one of the 3 lords of magic in the world of Zyathé, and they actually played and will play a very big part in what's changing in terms of magics within the world of Zyathé, which we'll read about in the Ventenium Alanax as we move forward. And Sha'aada is also revered by the Unseelie gods. Sha'aada, which is the goddess of seduction, for lack of a better term,
I couldn't have told by the icon.
Yeah, I know it. Okay. So listen, we had a little fun with this, and there's Mick Jagger out there, and there's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and there's just a lot of this kind of thing, right, going on.
Are these based off of Mrs. Goo's lips?
Oh, Mrs. Goo's lips are marvelous. But no, this is so. We just wanted to have a little fun with it, and we think it ended up being quite an interesting piece of jewelry. So hey, Carrie, you should make one of these days. It'd be fun. All right. So next is the Tormentea, who is the goddess of torture and tormenting, and she has some great lore. I really love Tormenta, and I think you will enjoy her quite a bit as well. And I believe this is the last one, Camera Mandy. I
think we have
one more afterwards. So this is Slay. Yes, and Slay is the god of assassins. Yes, and this is really a very dark-hearted individual, right? And the taking of lives gives pleasure to Slay and power. And so there's, this is definitely one that some of the Unseelies don't tend to spend as much time around, right? But there are certain courts and certain individuals within courts that do. So beware sometimes, yes? Beware when you go into the Feyward, yes? All right, the next is Hagish, who is the dark dancer, and Hagish is a marvelous god of the Unseelies, and I think when you read the lore of Hagish, you will see how this sort of fits with the whole thing. So I hope I did a good job and didn't miss anything and didn't say anything wrong. It is possible that I did so. So anybody who wants to check me,
fact check.
If anybody wants to fact check me, yeah.
So let me ask you, why does the SEELIE have 4 gods and the Unseelie have 6, and how do they pick their gods?
So this is really important. Everyone on the face of Zyathé who has some sentience has 72 gods. All right? So this is the important thing to understand. They don't necessarily revere them maybe as much, but they're still the gods, right? And so this is the idea that we're trying to bring to the table. So the SEELIE really revere those 4, and the Unseelie really revere those 6, but that does not mean that there are not homage given to other gods, that in other circumstances and situations, like if the SEELIE are going to run a big party, right, they're going to maybe bring out some love for Fufan and Buffon, right, the Lord Concoctor and the Lord of Festival, right? They perhaps would even bring out the offerings to Beundel'a, right, the Lord of the Pipe, right? So this is the idea we're trying to bring forward, and you'll even see that in chapter 1 when you meet Anton, who is the priest of the Blue Veil Troop. And Anton doesn't have just a single holy symbol or godly symbol. There are multiple gods that are represented both in his tent and all this stuff. And so this is the idea of polytheism, and we're really trying to bring that to the table because we think it makes it more interesting than, this is my only god, this is the one I serve, and I don't really even acknowledge these other gods. So we think it's a nice little twist on sort of maybe the tradition. So that's the idea behind it. Did I do a good job of answering that question?
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the idea of okay, if you're, a paladin that is one god, correct? Or
well, no, listen, that is absolutely true. So let's look at Radion. And Radion is the Lord of Light who is actually resurrected. Oh, I'm giving away a tale right from the neck. But anyway, when Radion is resurrected and becomes the Lord of Light, who was Sylvain, right? You just heard the tale of Sylvain. So if you are a paladin of Radion, all right, that does not mean that you do not revere certainly all the other gods of law and goodness. Ordain, yes, absolutely. Evoke, right? You do revere them, right? You would get down on your knee just as quickly in front of any of them as you would in front of Radion. You have just been trained by the Church of Radion. But the Church of Radion did not train you just to follow Radion. The Church of Radion taught you the teachings of Radion as sort of a part of your life philosophy, right? But those philosophies encompass especially all of the other gods' philosophies of law and goodness, right? But that does not mean that you wouldn't admire Jinx, even though you might kind of snicker at the Lord of Tricks, right? You still, you would still go to a show where a bunch of jesters are running around and have fun, probably. I mean, unless you're really one of those stiff-neck paladins, right? Nobody likes those.
Oh my goodness. That's not true. I like myself a good stiff-neck paladin. Okay.
So does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, are people in the stream getting this? Kind of following?
Yeah. My last question, I guess, is so we're reading about the conflicts between the gods.
Yes.
So if you're going to worship one god, are any of the gods in contention with them, like potentially?
So there are sort of alliances and relationships between the gods, and there are certainly rivalries, and there are certainly some enmities, right? And so we will bring this out. And it is not necessarily always between the gods of law and goodness and the gods of evil, right? There's definitely other kinds of little conflicts and little bumpings that go on between the gods of evil and the gods of good and the gods of neutrality and all around in there. But the enmity in particular between the gods of evil and the gods of law and goodness still remains to this day. But there is some working together even in that circumstance. So when we produce the Cyclopedia Religica, which we also hope to do in the next year or so, we want to bring forth all of these concepts and these ideas and really hopefully give people who want to play sort of more God-focused, deific-focused characters, give them some really wonderful lore and ideas to work with in their characters.
All right, awesome. Well, that's it for this.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Camera Mandy, I did not know that was it. I thought we had one more thing. So just some announcements. I know you all are waiting for the contributors thing. I'm coming close. We're doing a whole audit of all of the things that we've gotten in terms of the Contributors Guild. And thank you all. There's some wonderful stuff that is going into the Essenverd right now. I know, I saw it because I was looking at it just last night at somewhere around midnight. Anyway, I write late because it's the only time I can get time without Camera Mandy calling me.
That's
yes.
not true. We were on the phone at 11:45.
She did call me at 11:45.
No, you called me.
Well, I had to after you texted me, right?
Oh, okay.
So anyway, that's just we tend to work a little late around here. But anyway, listen, the contributions are making wonderful parts in our world, and I'm so excited about the Contributors Guild, and we are continuing on with our Contributors Guild. I just want to make sure that I don't have a bunch of contributions that folks do that we can't use because we've done too many or whatever. So I'm working on that, and I will have an announcement on that soon, I promise. We are still doing the interim shipment. I said that already tonight in the stream, but I want to make sure people get this. We are still doing them, so if you haven't got a notice yet, but you definitely pledged for some of these items that are being shipped right now, the Westward book, the Chapter 4, etc. They are coming your way as we assemble these boxes and get them all put together. So that is also something that I want to make sure everyone is aware of. Also, next week we are doing it for sure. We are sending out the email for the Gen Con party reservation. So having a party on Friday night. We're just about to figure out where we're going to do it. But we need you to, if you're coming to Gen Con, you must RSVP. You must tell us you're coming. So watch your email, make sure we aren't going to the spam, and please RSVP and let us know you're coming. Let us know your t-shirt size. There's some wonderful things that we're going to do there. We're going to eat and drink together and play some games, and Harry's bringing some giveaways, and we're bringing some giveaways, and it's just going to be a great time. And we're very excited about Gen Con, and thank you to all the folks who are really working hard to make Gen Con special. We have all these events planned, and it's very exciting. All right, and then the last thing, there was one more thing, but I can't remember exactly what I was going to say, so I'm just going to let it go. And we will bring it up on the next stream, which I think Camera Mandy and I are just about to record. So, my friends, may all your adventures be sticky. Here we are at Gooey University. No, we're not at Gooey University. We're at Goo Morning, Zyathé. God. Camera Mandy, put this one in the can.
I feel like this was the best way to end this episode. You guys all have a great rest of your Saturday.
Bye-bye.
May all your adventures be sticky.
Yeah, that.